So, Joe, it is now a new era in Tuscaloosa. We actually been seeing some clips. Womack, the DC there, was posting a video to a recruit that got posted on Twitter of them being out at practice. Alabama actually has a coach that has a social media account, which is actually pretty funny in my opinion. The new era started spring camp had started for Alabama, which then now the new era is here. Joe, what is the realistic first-year expectations for new head coach Kalen Deboer?
I know that we analyzed the hell out of this when all this happened and there was the coaching change, but I've now spent some time like really getting a feel for how I think things are going to go in 2024.
Okay.
The roster that Kalen Deboer is going to be coaching. We are exposed to the two biggest young players that left with Caleb Downs and Caden Proctor. But a lot of those guys that were on a team that went to the Rose Bowl, that won the SEC championship, there's a good amount of guys that are coming back. This is still a really, really good SEC roster.
Right.
If the wheels fall off for Kalen Deboer, it is not going to be in year one. It's just not. He is a fantastic elite in-game coach from a preparation standpoint, from an X's and O's offensive standpoint. The way that he prepared Washington and also made in-game decisions to help them win this past year is enough proof that Kalen Deboer is a fantastic coach on Saturdays. If the wheels fall off, it's going to be because he doesn't recruit well enough and they start to lack the depth to stay consistently good. I think in 2024, Blake, at minimum, they're going to win 10 games. I think that we need to acknowledge that even though they have a tough schedule coming up, Kalen Deboer with a more talented roster is still going to be able to win 10 games. He went undefeated in the regular season with Washington in a lot of games that he was not supposed to win.
Yeah, but the opponents don't equal the same. Playing Stanford, okay,
obviously,
playing Arizona State and almost losing those. Joe, I got to be honest. They don't play some of these teams. You can't do that to Tennessee. You can't do that to LSU. I'm going to be real with you, and you're going to completely disagree. You can't do that to Mississippi State. Now, he was in a bad –
no, fine against Mississippi State.
All right, let's go there. He barely gets out of a win against Arizona, right? Arizona lost to Mississippi State, who fired their head coach. At some point, these in-season wins have to matter.
I hate using the whole Arizona-Mississippi State example thing because they were transitioning quarterbacks and were dealing with the injuries at the beginning of the season, okay?
Joe, Mississippi State was literally running two different offenses week to week.
That was the beginning of the season. That was the very beginning of the season.
They played in week 2, Joe. One week they came out in the air raid. The next week they're running the power I.
My point is I'm not surprised that Arizona, who was still trying to get their feet underneath them with the whole Jane DeLora Noah Fafita situation, that they lost that game. Let's just move on from that for a second.
I'll give you that. 10 wins for a first-year expectation for him in Alabama is way too much. Way too much. I just don't know if he can come into this conference, which, by the way, is still extremely talented, and win 10 games in the regular season. Joe, he's got to play Georgia. He's got LSU on the road. What's Kalen Deboer for the first time when he's got to go to Death Valley at night and be a part of that? How is he going to coach then? Now you could say, oh, well, there's some really great games and really good things that happen in the Pac-12. Not like being in Death Valley at night at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock when everybody's liquored up. It's not the same. Do I think the ceiling, though, to your point, do I think the ceiling for them is to get to 10 wins in the regular season? Absolutely.
That's too low.
Joe,
Only 10 wins? You think that they can't win more than 10 games next year?
No, I do not. Not in year one. I don't think he goes 11-1. No, I do not. He's not going 11-1 in the regular season. No.
I think it's more than plausible. There's one team on their schedule that they won.
What's going to happen if he goes up to where do they play in Wisconsin?
They are not going to lose to Luke Fickell in Wisconsin. There is not a goddamn shot in hell. I know that for a fact. They don't have a single body that can go up against an SEC defensive lineman that can block LT Overton. They don't have a single body that can do that.
They did that against LSU in the bowl game.
I'm not worried about it. One thing that held back Alabama, and they still found ways to succeed, was how mediocre their offense was. Did it get clicking at the end of the season? Yes, it did. I think that the talent that they have going into 2024 offensively is better than what they had in 2023. I think
wait, what?
I think the talent that they have going into 2024 offensively is better than what they had on the field in 2023. I think there's better options at quarterback. There's more depth at quarterback. I think that the addition of Josh Swavis, who they added from the portal, who came over from Washington, this is a better offense than people are going to be willing to admit until we see it in action. And it's better coached. It's not Tommy Rees making the decisions.
Well, sure, but you know what else? Nick Saban's not also on that sideline either. So you can blame Tommy Rees and your Notre Dame shirt that you're wearing all you want to. They still got to a playoff under Tommy Rees. Joe, I look at their schedule. They got Western Kentucky. They got South Florida at home. Maybe that's a little bit of a revenge game. Remember that South Florida game this past year. Maybe Nick Saban wants that.
You're just being a hater, just bringing up South Florida. Like
I'm not being a hater.
Yes, you are.
I'm joking. But they go to Camp Randall. They go to Madison. They go to Wisconsin. But, Joe, here's where things get a little interesting. They got Georgia, okay, but they have some easier games after that. They go to Nashville. They got Vandy on the road. Then they got South Carolina at home. But here's the stretch, Joe, that I don't think that you're looking at. Tennessee,
I have it written down.
Missouri at home, LSU at LSU. Then they got to go they got Mercer in between. Then they got to go to Oklahoma and then the Iron Bowl. Joe, he's losing 2 of those 6 games. It is happening. He's not going to go 3-1 against LSU, Missouri. He's not going to. Who was the other one I just mentioned? I already lost him. And Tennessee. It's not going to happen. When he's got to go to Knoxville, Rocky Top, you'll always be.
I can't believe I'm the one who is supporting Alabama right now after what happened this past season. Look, Blake.
10 wins is them getting to a playoff. I'm saying that's their ceiling. I think he's going to lose 3 games. I think they're going 9-3. I don't think that there's a way that you can say that there's 10 wins for sure right now on this schedule.
Brian Kelly got LSU in his first year to 9 wins with limited scholarship players and a worse roster situation. Worse. 10. It's 9 with a worse roster. If Brian Kelly could do that with a worse roster 2 years ago in his first year,
completely created differently.
No, it's not. It's the same thing. It's a first year
a
for a coach.
Winning quarterback. Jaden Daniels.
2 years ago, Jaden Daniels was not a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
I completely disagree with that.
He didn't play nearly at the same level at all.
No, he ran for over 100 yards on Alabama. He threw for 200 yards and a half versus Georgia. What are you?
Then why didn't he win the Heisman in 2022?
Because all you little draft Rudy Poos wanted to say.
No. Stop. Look, Jalen Milroe. Some people argued should have been at the podium this past year for the Heisman Trophy. I didn't say Jalen Milroe should have been at the podium, but some people argued that he should have been with a better offensive coordinator. Gee, I wonder what Jalen Milroe could do.
All right, I did say that. I can't, for me, Joe, go 10-2 for him right now. There's no way. Joe, think about all the things that he's having to replace on the coaching staff. All these kids are having to replace. By the way, the spring portal hasn't happened yet. So he could lose more.
That's fair, and I've even said that there's a possibility that more kids hop in. But the reverse could happen. They could end up.
Oh, for sure. They're going to add some pieces. I think they might even add a running back in there. But look, is Cam Miller going to be the dude? I mean, who knows?
All this comes down for me is that I just think it's so easy to look at their schedule, to look at Kalen DeBoer in his first year, and to just immediately go, they can only get 9 wins. He is a very
didn't say that though.
I know that you're not doing that. I'm just saying from my own perspective.
Okay.
When I sat and I rationalized it in my way, Kalen Deboer is a phenomenal in-game coach. He is a great in-game coach. And I actually would rather pick and lean on a guy who I know can make strong in-game adjustments and can make the right play calls and the right decisions offensively to help my team win. I'm going to pick that over just assuming because it's his first year he's going to lose more, lose 3 games or more.
I just don't think that he can beat Kirby. I don't think he can beat Heupel on the road, and I don't think he can beat Brian Kelly on the road. That's what it comes down to for me, Joe. If I'm just being honest, I don't think that they're not going to beat Georgia. I think Georgia's out for blood. As Pooh Shiesty says, back in blood. I think that's kind of, I'm going to be a little real with you. I really do think that Georgia game is going to be a bloodbath.
I don't think
luck.
that's
all right.
Yeah.
Give me Georgia plus 14 or minus 14.
All right, that's excessive. If they lose, it's 14. By 10. If it's a blowout, it's 10 points.
Here come the dogs. Get
ready.
There's
no shot. There's no shot.
Also, I want to see how Kalen Deboer reacts in the SEC at Tennessee. With all due respect to Kalen Deboer, this is not going to Stanford. Joe, the close
I'm not saying
we were discussing
it is, but we write them off every time that they played against USC. We wrote them off both times that they played Oregon, and he still was the more prepared coach and the better in-game decision maker.
Well, can I ask a question? I keep hearing the take that you had earlier. Games that they weren't supposed to win. Okay, the only games were Oregon. They were favored in every other game. They were favored in literally every other game.
They were, but most people were still picking against Washington, including yourself, on a week-to-week basis.
That's not the argument. What I'm asking is people are saying that he outcoached, in game than other coaches. Well, who are they? Okay, Dan Lanning.
Lanning, who is considered to be a better coach than him without accomplishing anything.
I don't think that that's true.
A lot of people believe that. I like Dan Lanning, and I think a lot of people think that Dan Lanning's a better coach than Kalen Deboer. I mean, Alabama even might have, considering that he was one of the earliest names that was brought up for the opening.
Chris Lowe said that was bullshit. Okay, I see where you're coming at. I see where you're coming at with that. Okay, I will admit where I'm wrong. Okay, I guess I misinterpreted what people were trying to say with that.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.